Good evening. This is Mark at JTech. I'm here tonight to explain to you folks on how the basic refrigerant system works in an automobile. This is the automotive system in itself, and this is pretty generic for pretty much every automobile in the industry. Okay, an automobile in the automotive industry, things are named pretty much for what they actually do for a vehicle. Okay, a condenser condenses a high pressure gas into a high pressure liquid. Your evaporator takes a low pressure liquid and it evaporates it has air that goes across, it evaporates basically changes the high pressure or the low pressure liquid to a low pressure gas. And during that transition, it is actually absorbing air from the compartment in the vehicle, and that's why you see water dripping out the bottom of your car sometimes. That's because of the condensation that forms on this evaporator. Okay, this is an accumulator. The accumulator, what it does is it accumulates the moisture left in the Freon when it passes through. The gas will inherently get some moisture in it as it's doing its service. So in the bottom of the accumulator, you have desiccant. The desiccant is designed to, in the low pressure gas, to absorb any moisture droplets that may drop out as the gas passes through. And then it goes back to the heart of the system, which is your compressor, as a low pressure gas. So basically what we have here is the compressor in the automobile is, like I said, is the heart of the system. And it actually, a compressor, it compresses gas. So what it does is it takes and it compresses the Freon into a high pressure gas. It comes down and goes through the condenser. The condenser actually has air flowing across it, whether the car's driving down the road or you're sitting in traffic and a fan is running. There's air going across your condenser all the time. And that air is actually what takes your high pressure gas and turns it into a high pressure liquid by the time it leaves the compressor, or by the time it leaves the condenser. Then it goes up and it goes through the orifice tube. The orifice tube is actually the tube that separates the high side and the low side, is what's fondly known in the industry for the air conditioning system. It'll take your high pressure liquid after it has left the condenser, and then it sprays through an orifice. This orifice also has a filter screen in it that keeps any particles out. And what it does is it fans out the gas, if you will, on the low pressure side. So it takes anything maybe 250 psi and drops it down to as much as maybe 32, 40 psi on the low side. That low side liquid, low pressure liquid, then enters the evaporator. As it goes through the evaporator, this liquid is starting to expand and starting to turn into a gas because it's absorbing heat from the compartment or from the cabin, either your truck or your automobile. The airflow from your fan that you turn on inside actually forces air across that, and that's where it starts taking the heat out of the vehicle and turning around and discharging it through the low pressure gas. This low pressure gas can absorb a considerable amount of heat. And like I said, you'll have a condensation tube that's in the box that this evaporator sets in that drips water. And that's why you have a puddle under your car sometimes. Okay, and it'll just be a clear liquid. It won't be green or anything like that. So don't be mistaken with that. And after it turns into a low pressure gas, it comes back around. And then, like I said, it hits the accumulator, and then the desiccant takes out the moisture and it returns it back to the compressor. And the compressor is actually drawing gas back in, or sucking it in, as it's forcing it back out as a high side gas. So this is kind of how the automotive system works, and it's no real mystery to it. It's just differences in pressures and what the actual system does. So that's pretty much how it works, and I hope it's been of help to you and get you a good idea, or at least able to start you on your way forward as far as working on your AC. Thank you very much and have a great evening.